Good morning, students. Here we're going to just quickly revise lesson 1 and 2 from your book First Flight, that is A Letter to God, and Nelson Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom. After going through your notebooks, what I found that many of you have skipped the first lesson, A Letter to God. I want you to just finish the work of lesson 1 once your exam gets over, so that it doesn't remain pending. I would post the link of your A Letter to God once again in your tutorial. I think you have not been able to log into that. Okay, so just let's start revising the 2 lessons. Summary. Let's revise this lesson. Chapter 1, A Letter to God, written by J.L. Fuentes. A Letter to God is a story of extreme faith in God. A natural calamity leaves Lencho, a hard-working farmer, in distress. The farmer writes a letter to God asking him to send money. The chapter concludes in a very ironic situation. You already know this story where Lencho is a very poor farmer and hard-working too. His house was on the top of a hill. He hoped for a good crop, but his fields needed rain, or at least a shower. He waited for the rain and it did come. One day it started drizzling. In the beginning, Lencho felt the falling rain drops as new silver coins falling from the sky. But what happened? The rain transformed into a hailstorm. The hailstones fell for an hour, and this hailstones destroyed the crops of Lencho. Lencho was disheartened. His heart, his soul was filled with sadness. He thought they would go hungry. He had firm faith in God. He had deep faith in God, so he decided to write a letter to him. He wrote the letter mentioning his destroyed crop and asked from the God for the money as help. He put the letter in an envelope, addressed it to God, and went to the post office to post the letter. When reached there, everybody laughed at him. The postman who took the letter out of the mailbox saw the letter and showed it to the postmaster. And the postmaster suddenly realized, after when he saw the letter, he read the letter, he was very shocked and surprised to see the unshakable faith in God of Lencho. So he decided to help the man. He discussed with his colleagues, and then they all contributed the money they could manage with, and then as an act of charity, the postmaster helped the person called Lencho. He collected the money, put it in an envelope, and addressed it to Lencho. This letter contained only a single signature, that is written at last as God. The next Sunday, Lencho went to the post office. The postmaster handed him the letter. When he received the letter, Lencho was not at all surprised after receiving the letter from the God. In fact, when he opened the envelope, he was very angry. Why he was angry? Because there were only 70 pesos in the envelope, whereas he asked for 100 pesos. He thought a bit and he thought that God could not have made such a mistake. So He took a pen and paper. He immediately wrote a letter to God again and put it in the mailbox. Again, the postmaster and the other staff, they knew that Lento had posted a letter, so they opened the mailbox and started reading the letter, what he has actually written. They might have thought that maybe he had written a thankful letter, but when he opened it, when the postmaster opened the letter, what he had written that he got only 70 pesos and 30 pesos are still less in the envelope. He says that he thinks that the people in the post office had cheated on him by taking some money out of the envelope. So he wrote another letter to God mentioning that do not send money through the mail, but because the post office employees were a bunch of crooks. So this is really an ironic story. You can have a look at the extract based questions that you're going to get. You will get a reference to context, a reference taken from your any of the prose, your poetry, and then 5 questions below that. You will get MCQs, you get options, and you have to just select one of the right answers. So you'll get extract based questions as well as the short questions, long questions, both. This is your lesson 2nd, Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. This chapter is an extract from Mandela's autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom. So this is just an extract, a small extract taken from an autobiography of Nelson Mandela named Long Walk to Freedom. It provides us a glimpse of the early life of Nelson Mandela, his education, 30 years in prison, and the pains he had suffered in his young age. It also recounts his fight for the freedom of his own people who were tortured by the whites. So we clearly know that Nelson Mandela was the first black president of South Africa, and before becoming the first black president of South Africa, he spent 30 years in prison. He had suffered a lot of pain. He went through a lot of pain, and then at last he fought for the freedom of his own people. He throughout his life fought for the rights of the black because they were discriminated by the whites, and then he finally became the first black president. It was a historic occasion. Dignitaries and representatives of 140 countries came to attend it. The ceremony took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheatre formed by the Union Buildings in Pretoria. First, Mr. De Klerk, the second deputy president, then Thabo Mbeki, the first deputy president, was sworn in. Nelson Mandela took oath as the president. He pledged to obey and uphold the constitution and devote himself to the well-being of the republic and its people. So it was the historic moment, it was the historic occasion that this was the first time that any black president, any black person was becoming the first black president of South Africa, and there were representatives from 140 countries, representatives of 140 countries came to participate to attend the ceremony. He finally took oath as the president. He pledged to obey and uphold the constitution and devote himself to the well-being of his people, the republic and its people. He welcomed them. He thanked them for coming at the occasion, for coming to the occasion, and he declared that it is a common victory of justice, peace, and human dignity. His government also pledged to liberate people from the bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other discriminations. He wished the sun of freedom to shine on his country forever. He not only thanked them for attending his ceremony, attending this occasion, but he also declared that it was a common victory of justice, peace, and human dignity. He pledged to liberate, to free the people of his country from poverty, from deprivation, from suffering, gender, and other discriminations. Finally, during the ceremony, the jets left a smoke trail of different colors: black, red, green, blue, and golden color of the new South African flag. In the end, the two national anthems were sung by the whites and the blacks. Nelson Mandela reformed history. In the first decade of the 28th century, a few years after Anglo-Boer War, before his birth, the white-skinned patched up their differences and erected a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned people of South Africa. So, during that time, during Mandela's time, there were a lot of discrimination between whites and blacks. Blacks had to suffer a lot of discrimination being done against them by the whites. They had to suffer in everything. It was the birth of apartheid, the harshest in human creation. Now, in the last decade of 28th century, the system had been overturned, forever recognizing the rights of all people, irrespective of the color of their skin or religion. He not only thanked people, he not only declared that it was the common victory, he also pledged to liberate people. He also remembered the courage and sufferings of thousands of patriots who participated in the long struggle, and they were not there to witness this occasion. They were not there to see their achievement, their long struggles achievement. In your book, he has also mentioned the names of all the people, all the freedom fighters, because without their contribution, without their struggle, it would not have been possible for Mandela to continue this struggle and finally succeeding it. He also tells that his comrades, his own people, taught him what courage meant. The people who struggle in the long run, they only taught him what real struggle was, what courage meant to him. It is not the absence of fear, but victory over it. No one is born to hate another on the basis of color or skin or religion. If they can learn to hate, then why not they learn to love, which comes naturally. He believes in the goodness of man that never dies. Every man has twin obligations, one towards his family and the other towards his people and his country. In the reign of apartheid, if one tried to fulfill his duty towards the people, he was ripped of his family and home. Mandela said he was born free. He had the freedom to run in the fields, swim in the stream, and ride on a bull. Boyhood freedom was an illusion. As a student, he wanted transitory freedom, freedom to stay out at night, to read books of his choice. As a young man, he yearned for basic honorable freedoms of achieving his potential, of earning, of marrying, and having a family. When he became a young man and joined the African National Congress Party, he first wanted freedom only for himself and then for all his people, his country. Both need to be liberated. The oppressor is a prisoner of hatred, prejudice, and narrow-mindedness. The oppressor and the oppressed both are robbed of their humanity. So, Nelson Mandela says that if we can learn to hate. If they can learn to hate, then why cannot they learn to love? And love comes naturally from within. He believes totally in the goodness of man, in the goodness of human being. He says that he decided to join in this freedom movement. He joined into to struggle, to join the long struggle of the people when he thought about freedom, when he thought that he was born free. When he was born, he was totally free. He had the freedom to run in the fields. He could swim in the stream. He could ride a bull. He says that that time when he was small, that freedom was an illusion. And slowly, when he gradually started to grow, as a young man, he started to yearn for an honorable freedom, because he somehow knew that he has not got the freedom what he deserved. After becoming a young man, he joined the African National Congress. At first, after joining the Congress, he first wanted freedom for himself. But when he met new people, when he talked to people, when he joined into different movements, he realized that it was not his freedom that he wanted, but he also wanted the freedom for his own people. He wanted freedom for his own country. And both of them needs to be liberated, not just himself, but his people, his country. So, from there on, he joined this movement of liberating themselves from this discrimination, from the racial discrimination against them by the whites, and he fought for his people. After his education, spending 30 years in prison, the pains he had suffered, after that, at last he succeeded in this long struggle, and sworn in as the first black president of South Africa. That took place on 10th May, which was a historic occasion.